You are. Uh, Good afternoon. I was just saying to Chris here, I think I'm more nervous than he is. I haven't been streaming for a little while, for about a month there. Things have been moving so fast. I'll just wait for a few people to join us. Okay, Chris is very professional. He's muted his microphone when he's not speaking.
He spent the last couple
Man
of
on
months in large Zoom chats, so it's important to be.
okay, yes. It's, everybody's tech. Yeah.
I was on a group
Okay.
call there where it was about 70 of us in the room. One person took a call, put us on hold, so the entire 70 room people had to listen to their hold music and couldn't mute them.
And then they couldn't be told either.
Yeah.
They weren't aware that they probably meant to mute and then put them on hold. Okay, we've got a couple of people in there. So, great. So I'm joined with Chris. Chris is our guy who was presented with this information. It landed in his lap, let's say. Chris, first of all, do you want to give a quick introduction as to who you are and how you came to nationalism?
Sure thing.
What your involvement is, just so people get a feel for who it is we're actually talking to.
My name is Chris.
Quick 30-second overview.
Yep. I'm Chris.
Sorry, say that again.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah, I'm Chris. I'm 32. I'm from London originally, but I've lived in Ireland for 31 years. And I'm really passionate about Euroscepticism. And I hope to see the European Union either return to the way it was in the 1990s, or if not that we end the project. That is my number one issue all over.
Sounds okay, cool. Have you had any involvement with any of the nationalist parties in Ireland?
I've been a member of political parties. I was a progressive Democrat way back in the day. And at the moment, I support the Irish Freedom Party, seeing them as the best way to get Euroscepticism into the mainstream politics in Ireland.
Okay, great. Okay, so tell us about this this information that you got. When did I saw it on a WhatsApp group for the first time on the 3rd of June. Did you get it the same day, or was it a couple of days before that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I got it the same day I sent it on, because it was made for quite interesting reading, obviously. I'd sort of not really been keeping abreast of political developments during lockdown, mostly because I was quite busy with work. But when I put my head over the parapet, I was very surprised to see Fine Gael operating in a big surge after, the lockdown has been fairly well perceived by a lot of Irish society. They seem to be in a much stronger position than they were beforehand. So yeah,
I'm going to share the screen and okay, I'll share the screen and then we'll have a look at these. So the actual screenshots that you were sent, can you talk me through them? Sorry, I mean, how you got them and when you got them?
Sure, I got them from a friend who would be quite well connected in terms of getting political gossip and stuff like that. And it had been sent to him by a friend, and they had sort of said that it was being knocked around internally within Fine Gael, and that wasn't at all very interesting, and I thought it was. So we can see there that if the election were to run again, that Fine Gael would end up with a 34% number of seats after the election, Sinn Féin at 27, Fianna Fáil way down at 16. But I think if you move down the artifact, it should show you, so they reckon that Fine Gael could gain 24 seats, Sinn Féin by running more candidates.
So we have a look at the summary.
Yeah. So it shows you like a net in and out. Very interesting, I thought, was they predict that the Greens could drop from 12 to 4. Obviously, at the time the election was being run, the Extinction Rebellion activism was very, very big in an awful lot of the support bases where Fine Gael, surprisingly enough, are getting their seats in metropolitan areas. The same sort of people who, might go along to an Extinction Rebellion protest at the weekend while working, a well-paid office job and have a very keen eye on their income tax rate. They could quite easily float from Fine Gael to Green.
you still with us, Chris? Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah. No,
Okay,
I'm with you
cool.
there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
looking at
RT was going just in November, December. RT was going overboard on green issues, just pumping it. Obviously, no doubt about whether uh, loyalties lay. Okay, so here you have it. Okay, so based on opinion polls, it was last updated on the 1st of June. It showed Fine Gael 36.9. I think the Joe one at 35, the latest one that you showed me. So, I mean, that even shows like in the space of a week now, we're now sitting on the 9th of June. So from the 1st of June to the 9th of June, they've slipped a couple of points. I mean, not all, I mean, we're not necessarily comparing like with like, but it goes to show that there is a moment. There is a moment, and will they capitalize on the moment? Will they try and capitalize on the moment? And there, I mean, it's to be expected that all the parties, if you were going from 20% and jumped to 35 or 36%, you would be thinking, if that was your party, you would be thinking about capitalizing on that and moving from 35 seats to 59 seats. And they have put in a prediction of the 21st of August. Very interesting, which would be about just under 2.5 months away from now. Now, people were saying, oh, well, what about the lockdown and all the rest? But isn't it interesting that the pace of the easing of the lockdown seems to have gone into overdrive?
Yes.
It seems to have speeded up. It's gone from five stages have suddenly become 4 stages.
And I wonder, is followed the Polish presidential elections at all?
I didn't.
They've been run recently, quite controversially. So a condensed version. They only had the poll during lockdown. The Polish president is, like Ireland, supposed to be a politically neutral figure. So PIS got a thumb of support from the incumbent guy, and they wanted to run an election as scheduled. But during the COVID lockdown, the opposition parties were very upset because they felt that the name recognition could get them over the board. They wouldn't be able to campaign properly with lockdown being in place, and this suited PIS too well. So I actually don't know what happened. I mean, I imagine the election's run by now. I haven't kept up to date with that, but it seems, however, possible to run a general election in a European country during a lockdown, or at least soon after one ends.
Yeah, I mean, 2.5 months' time. Can anybody in the chat let us know where, according to the 4-stage plan, where would we be? Would we be back to normal in 2.5 months? I think the plan, it was like 5 stages of 3 weeks each, which that's 15. 5 stages of 15. That's about 4 months. That's like three. That's 3.5 months. So that was the old plan to get us back to normal. It was like 5 stages of 3 weeks each. But now there's talk of 4 stages.
Yeah.
Maybe of 2 weeks each. So look, we could be nearly back to normal. I mean, do we need to be at exactly back to stage zero to run an election? I mean, you don't need to be. You could do it with social distancing and all the rest. So it is very possible. It could be done. It could be done on the 21st of August. Yeah. So basically, we need to be on an election footing, guys, because this is this is being talked about in all seriousness, as you'd expect it would be. But they've gone so far as to do up the figures and float this round their commons and their members, the Fine Gael internally in Fine Gael. You wouldn't really be doing that. You wouldn't. It's flying a kite to try and prepare people for. I mean, nobody really. We talk about election fatigue. Nobody really wants one, but this is
government from the constituent parties that we have now.
Sorry, I mean, obviously, I was going to say. Let me just be clear about what I'm saying. Like, we don't feel like we want one, but we want. Like any party wants. Who hasn't done as well as they thought they would do. In principle, we do want one. It's just that our bodies are tired from the last, and we've like bad traumatic experiences from the last one, and the bad, nationalism had a pretty poor show. Let's face it. Yeah. But at the same time, this is what we're here for. This is what we're putting in the hours for. This is what we're all working away as on a volunteer basis for to get nationalists elected in the Dáil. So we gotta just snap up and be prepared for that opportunity. Okay, JQ says it keeps buffering. Okay, well, maybe when it goes when we go to the replay, we can pick it up better. Okay, so that's basically the 21st of August is Fine Gael are looking at that as potential election date, and we need to be aware of that and be ready, as we should be all the time. But like, let's not be caught out like last time. I want to just talk about the February general election, which was announced on the 14th of January, which they gave us 3 weeks basically to the 8th. It was actually on the 8th of February, just over 3 weeks. Now, I had actually picked up this article on the 20th of December. So the signs were there. There was evidence out there that this was going to happen. And that would have given us an extra 3.5 weeks. Unfortunately, the powers that be in nationalism, and I'm talking about the influencers, damn, let me get rid of all this. Hopefully that's not going to start playing. Okay, cool. You may have seen this story. You probably didn't, unfortunately. This story came out. Somebody sent. I wasn't even watching the Mirror.ie. Somebody sent it to me, or somebody put it up on one of the Facebook groups that I manage. It came out on the 20th of December. That was like a full 3.5 weeks before the election was actually announced. So this was basically the clue that it was coming. A very strong indication that it was going to happen. So the story was, and the general election is just around the corner after government put in an order for 3.5 million ballot papers, the Irish Mirror can reveal. This was an exclusive story on that Friday morning. Exclusive. Printers are told to have them ready for February the 1st. Printers are being told to have them ready for February the 1st ahead of a possible vote later that month. Once the Taoiseach sets a date under the Electoral Act, the country must go to the polls within 17 to 25 days. Now, they indicated it will be within 17 to 25 days from February the 1st. However, I was able to pull, No, if the printers had the ballot papers by February the 1st, then they must have had the names. They would have needed the names of the candidates. So that would mean that the election would have needed to have been announced 10 days, let's say 10 days before that, at least 10 days before that, because when an election is announced, then there's I think it's 10 days there's a 10-day deadline for the parties to nominate their candidates. So that puts the election date back 10 days, and that means that it was very likely going to be in the middle of February, and it was on the 8th of February. Anyway, so it was there, the story was there. I put that out onto Irish Patriots United and various other Facebook groups. I tried to, there it is, in fact. Yeah, in this group of about 800 people. On the 20th, yeah, on the same day of the election looming in February or March, the government has ordered ballot papers with delivery to the 1st of February. Now, the political parties picked up on it and started, moving towards that date, because there was a lot of first time general election for two of the parties anyhow, the Irish Freedom Party and the National Party. There's a lot of work to do behind the scenes. So there wasn't a lot of time to be making calls out to the nationalist community to get ready. I started doing that, but I don't think that anybody took any notice of me, unfortunately. So this time I'm making an appeal to the big influencers in the nationalist community, the YouTubers. Please don't get caught napping this time. If you look at, so the information was there from the 20th. So Gran Torino, it was just business as usual for the big YouTubers. Interviews with E. Michael Jones around about this time. There's the Free Speech Rally on the 14th of December. Interview with E. Michael Jones, Garage Murphy in to talk about something, another show about the free speech protest, more about the free speech protest. Garage Murphy fought out of the free speech protest. Christmas message. So this was actually after. So yeah, I'd made the announcement, or this information was out there. guys, don't let this happen again, because we missed 3 weeks. So fair play here on this date 5 months ago. That was the date of the actual official election announcement on the 14th of January. And to be fair, he goes in and he does a good pep talk and says, look, get together in your local areas, meet up, start preparing. But, this was like 3 weeks out, so we didn't, if we wonder why we only got 1%, it's because we weren't ready. Please don't let that happen again, guys. Okay, let's go and have a quick look at the chat. How's it going? Destroyer 420, Finola, Paul O'Neill, JQ. JQ was saying it was buffering, but hopefully it'll be okay in the replay. Chris, are you still there with us?
Yeah, I am indeed.
Yeah, what was I going to say?
So one point
I had a question for you.
Oh no, you
go ahead. No,
well,
I can't remember.
One point I wanted to make was that if you think about the three main parties' performance in the last election, they all feel that they might have something to gain from going into an election again. Insofar as Fine Gael had a poor showing and now could do a lot better. Sinn Féin had a great showing but could do a lot better by running two candidates in some constituencies. And Fianna Fáil, for very good reason, there's a large portion of Fianna Fáil supporters who are completely opposed to entering into this coalition. Yeah, because looking at 5 years down the line, like, they know they'll be punished for it. That's what happened last time they went into government with the Greens. And they don't want it to happen again because it'll set them back another 10 years. So all the main parties have something to make them want a new election. Like, they all feel they have something to gain.
Which means that they're not going to be bending over backwards in these coalition talks that are going on, right? So what we're saying is it's unlikely we're going to see. I mean, there's a good strong chance there will be another election very soon, because there's Fine Gael. They're riding the crest of the blinder wave with a 24-seat increase, which would leave them only really needing one other coalition partner.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on who that could be based on those?
Well, they could resume their current position with Fianna Fáil. I think it does their ego good to have Fianna Fáil as their junior coalition partner.
The boys yet again, yeah. So, like, there's this. We need to be aware there are strong reasons for each of these parties that are currently involved in the. Sinn Féin aren't really involved in the coalition talks at the moment. So it's these Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, and Greens. Greens are the one party that stand to lose, and they're the ones probably saying, "Oh, what can we do to make this happen?" But with they're coming with 12 as opposed to these guys with 35 and 38, so they've got limited power.
To be honest, like, I almost suspect that the Green Party have almost overperformed their competency insofar as you've got people in the back end of their movement who've got some pretty fruity ideas. Like, there was only one person in the Irish Times who they mentioned had very strong pro-life views and therefore was not being nominated as potential Attorney General. Everyone calm down. And you've all these county councillors who ran, oh yeah, sure, I'll put my name down because you need to get the 2% funding. Then they won their council seats and were like, I have a job. Like, I can't do this, Like, they're a party who's outgrown their infrastructure, I think. Losing some seats might be better for them in the long run. I don't know. I think they seem a lot more strong from the outside than they necessarily feel within.
Come back to Fianna Fáil again, because they stand to lose seats.
Yes,
but you still you feel that there's enough of a minority of people who just do not want to go into as equal partners. They'll be happier in the confidence and supply role. Do you feel?
I think it's more that they fear what they would have to do to get into bed with the Greens. In that, like, have you seen the demands the Greens have been placing on for the next government?
No, I haven't. Just give us a quick overview.
Well, even just their carbon tax. Like, they want us to reduce carbon by something like 7.5% a year, and the kind of changes you need to make the economy to do that 7% a year for 5 years would be so drastic that it would make what we've done with COVID look like a blip. And that how can they sign up to a program for government they know they either can't and won't meet, or can meet and will ruin the country, especially given that they have a strong rural base. You know.
Okay, so basically what we're talking about is, if we leave Sinn Féin aside for 1 second, there it was Fine Gael backed, supplied by Fianna Fáil. They've both lost ground in the last election and left them needing the Greens. However, according to these new figures, the Greens, they would like take that ground back from the Green at the Greens' expense. There's a few other ins and outs there as well. So basically, it could leave them, if they go back to the polls, it could leave them. They're probably thinking it could leave them not relying on the Greens, and they'd be a lot happier with that, because bringing Greens into government is going to leave,
expensive.
Yeah. I'm thinking back to the last time. Yeah. Okay, so let's see any questions coming from the chat. Any points? Paul has. Is another election expected soon? Do you know something? Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Look, put it in replay afterwards, Destroyer. Yeah, there's a feeling that there's a leaked document from Fine Gael. Our man Chris here has come by, it's landed in his lap through a contact. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, as the old saying goes. Paul has, I reckon we're looking at another general election, but the problem is all the big parties are liberal lefties. Yeah, okay.
Well, that's why we need to start electing patriot candidates. Like, as soon as we start getting seats. So Fine Gael are experts at stealing the trousers of one another's parties, of one another's policies. So they were in government with Labour, realised that lots of people like the Labour social programme, but like the Fine Gael income tax rate. So they stole their trousers.
Okay. Okay. Like, I just want to come in here as the hardest bit is going to be getting that first TD.
Yeah.
Once you have a voice in the Dáil, you start to push the Overton window, because that voice will get a proper nationalist, not just like the independents, like 3 months before the election.
We've got Noel Grealish, we've got Veronica Murphy, like they're already small.
Yeah, they only piped up 3 months before the election. They're sort of like Tony DeLong. I mean, to be fair, the good guys are the best we have at the moment, but and I don't want to take away from them. Like Matty McGrath made a great statement there the other day about the showboating. The Black Lives Matter 1 minute of silence was just pure showboating, and we all get behind him for that, and fair play, Matty. However, we do need our own people in there. Somebody died in the wool, not a career politician. Somebody who's principled, who will be saying those sorts of things like what Matty said every month, every day of the week, every month of the year, and that's going to shift the Overton window. Of course, the press are going to go crazy, but that's going to get reported. It's going to get reported. It's going to shift the Overton window, and then the second and third TDs. Let's say we only get one TD this time around. Hopefully, we'll get more. Sorry, go on ahead.
When they attack you for saying perfectly reasonable things, like that's where we make our hay, man.
Yeah, exactly. The electorate have shown that they reward. The electorate have shown that they reward balls. Courage, nationalist courage, like Grealish, Verona Murphy. Michael Collins. Healy-Raes have got themselves into a bit of. I mean, you see, this is what I mean. Healy-Raes, career politicians, they've got one. They make nationalist noises, but then they're involved in the asylum scam as well. So
Oh yeah. I'm not saying they're clean. Oh no.
Yeah. We need principled nationalists in there. So let's get at least one in. Let's make sure. Let's pull out all the stops. Move heaven and earth. We've seen last time that the Pixies aren't going to do it, because last time we left it to the Pixies to do it. It was like out of 20, we know that there's at least 20,000 voters, nationalist voters, in Ireland, because that's what the nationalist parties returned last time. However, out of those 20,000 people, only 200, we estimate 200 people went and got involved and canvassed. That's not enough, guys. That is not. That's like 1% of our strength. Now, you'd understand. We know that not everybody feels capable of canvassing, but we do need to. If you look at yourself and you think, well, I'm never going to be able to canvass. I'm never going to be able to knock on a door and hand out a leaflet and speak to somebody. That's okay. At least go and be part of the team, the background team, the support team. If you're the person that creates the meeting, or makes sandwiches at the meeting, or pours the tea, or opens the door, if there's 3 people at the first meeting, and if you weren't there, it would only be 2, then believe me that your presence there will give an extra Philip an extra, put a bit of wind in the sails to the other two, right? And you could be the difference. You could be the difference between a candidate standing, you going to that meeting or not going to the meeting. So just go and meet your other local, connect with your local patriots. Stop worrying. If you're in Cork, stop worrying about what your best mate on Facebook in Dublin is saying. Stop. We need to stop interacting with each other on a national basis and start finding our local patriots. Now, one way we can do that is through the patriot groups that I've set up, and I've got a lot of help on this as well. So it wasn't just me. It's a team job. There's one for every. This is just one way to do it. We've got them in Telegram as well. So actually, go back to that one. We'll just go for every constituency in the country is covered. So I saw somebody in the chat there from Donegal, who I think might be from Donegal. So yeah, typically my computer is gone. It's a new computer as well, but it's the cheapest one I could get because I'm poor. So it's not man enough for the job. But okay, there's Patriots Donegal, there's Patriots Dublin City, there's Patriots Dublin Fingal, Patriots Louth, Patriots. Some of them have, if the constituency has got two counties stuck together, like Sligo Leitrim, that's a constituency. Then we've got Patriots Sligo Leitrim. So find your local, whatever way you do it, whether it's Facebook, getting using Gran Torino's roll call to work out who's local to you, and then sending those people a private message. Well, YouTube's a bit shit for doing that because you can't send private messages. You nearly think the establishment were running YouTube. Oh, funny that they are.
Loving the chat there from the
what's happening in the chat? Let's read
Gael. Also, Fine Gael are a brief boost because of the lockdown. They'll be gone by the time November's budget comes around. True facts.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be an incredibly expensive lockdown.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you'd say you can see the motivation for Fine Gael wanting to do this sooner rather than later, as soon as they can, and maybe this is why we're sprinting through the ease down, the ease off of the lockdown. That's everything happens for a reason. Maybe, let's see. So anyway, I want to keep it short because I want people to please share this and please like and subscribe. And okay, I am a bit of a mouthpiece. I am outspoken. Not everybody likes me. I'm not here to be popular. I don't care if you don't like me, but don't ignore me. Because last time I did warn you that the election was, a general election was coming, and I gave you 6 weeks notice, and nobody took any notice. And well, the parties did, but they were working in the background. But I need influencers. I need the influencers. I'm talking to the great lads like Gran Torino, Irish Patriot, Critiqued, Garage Murphy. You guys need to be talking about this, and if there's things you don't know, come and ask one of things you don't understand about the electoral process. Get somebody in who does, or I'm sure anybody, any. If you don't like me, that's cool, but ask one of my colleagues who's stood or been involved in canvassing to find out what it's all about, what needs to happen, how are we going to get it? How are we going to get an nationalist elected this time around? Look, I'm going to be honest. Last time was pathetic. It was a pathetic performance. I know at the time we sort of cheered ourselves up by saying, "Oh, it was first time in," but 1%. But 1%, 16% can be done in the space of 5 or 6 elections. Look at Vox. But we need to at least double. Even if we did nothing, if we did the same, if we went out with 200 people again, I'd say we double the vote. Without really doing anything, because the mood has shifted so much towards nationalism. The people are ready for it. But let's ride that wave. Let's go and take the message to the people. They're ready for it. We even found that last time. The 3 campaigns that I was involved with, Mid-Ulster, Louth, and Dublin Bay North, I'd say 1 or 2 out of the 10 for every 10 people would have voted for us. And that, if we were managed to get round all the electorate in each of those constituencies, that would have got us TDs elected. But the bottleneck was we didn't have enough people. We just didn't have big enough teams. 200 people across the whole country, that was pathetic. Absolutely effing pathetic. Don't let that happen again. Let's make it 2,000 this time around. Chris, anything to add before we go?
Yes. A quote from a guy called Douglas Murray, who I'm sure some of you know. Well, in my experience, the cavalry never does arrive. or rather, the lesson in middle age is at first frightening, then hilarious, and finally shrugging acceptance that the cavalry is you. We need you on the doorsteps, lads.
We are the cavalry. We are the cavalry.
We are the
Yeah.
cavalry.
Those of us who've done it before, we'll take you under our wings. We'll teach you how to do it. You don't have to do it. You can put up posters, deliver leaflets, make the tea, but just your presence in local teams with people who are going to be doing it. You can give them slap their backs. Make them the tea afterwards, buy them a pint afterwards, whatever it is. Everything, even just your presence will add. So yeah, come. Get out there and find your local patriots. Find your local people, not the ones like hundreds of miles away. Find your local people. You'll be surprised how many there are. Like 20,000 people voted nationalist in the last election. That means out of 40 constituencies, that's like 20,000 divided by 40. What's that? 500. That's 500 people. There's 500 voters in your constituency. 500 nationalist voters. There's probably people in your town and village. You're just being defeatist if you think there's nobody who thinks the same as you. You just haven't asked enough people. Anyway, find them, find your local people, use social media to do that, and connect with them, set up WhatsApp groups, go and meet them for drinks, go for walks. If you're worried about the lockdown, then just do it all on social media for now. It can be done. Just do it on social media if you're worried about the lockdown. Don't be using the lockdown as an excuse. Okay, over and out. Over and out, people. Get ready. Get ready. We're on an election footing, as we should be all the time. Thanks everybody who tuned in. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done already. But get this message out. Make sure that the influencers know that this is a strong possibility, and the evidence is there based on that. This has been actively discussed behind the scenes in Fine Gael, in the Commons, on a local level. They're preparing their local teams for it. They wouldn't be doing that otherwise. They wouldn't be sending those spreadsheets out to the local Commons. And we've discussed there are strong motivations for them actually going to the country, and sooner rather than later, and trying to get capitalize on the blinder wave. But we can capitalize too. We should be able to get our vote up by 3 times, and possibly even get a TD in. Like, let's focus on one or two areas. Anyway, hopefully again, I mean, it's likely that the parties will field where they can the same candidates in the same constituencies, which means that they won't be stepping on each other's toes. Can't promise that, but that's likely. Thanks for subscribing there, Rory. Good man. So look, we're not looking for a civil war before the War of Independence. So let's not fight among each other. Some of the YouTubers' flame war seems to have died down a wee bit. Let's keep it that way. Let's unite. We've all got our own individual battles to fight in our individual areas, because this is what we got to remember. The battle moves. It's not like one big battle. It's 40 individual battles, because what could be happening in Cork North's, in Kerry, an nationalist party could be flying, and then next door in Limerick, let's not use specific constituencies, but you could be flying in one a nationalist party could be flying, have great support, and then in the constituency next door, just because of demographics or because of just nobody stood up, it could be nothing. So it's local battles, local teams. Okay. Let's see, anything else come through? Short clips taking a piss out of sacred cows or SJWs could be very effective. Yeah. Listen, guys, there's nothing like just going and knocking on the doors and handing out the leaflets, because the people are, nobody's rude. Most people aren't rude. And as I said, last time, 1 or 2 out of 10 said they would vote for us. And I would say that will go up to 2 or 3 out of 10 this time around. So, because the mood of the country has changed. The country is ready for a message. We just need people to go out and take the message to the people. And I literally mean take the message to the people. Like, you walk with the message and you give the message, you speak in it or hand them a leaflet. We're going to get no favors off the press. Social media is limited. A lot of people aren't on it. And social media keeps us corralled to a certain extent. I know not totally, but they're not showing nationalist content to Joe Public, random Joe Publics. Only people that have searched for our sort of stuff before. So you only really preach to 90% of the time you're preaching to the converters. Okay, I'll leave it at that for now. EOY, thanks for your attention. Talk to you soon. And thanks, Chris.
Cheers for having me.
Chris, you still there? Yeah, thanks, man. That was great.